Now we're going to do a first lesson called Attitude is Altitude. Attitude, our own attitude, is altitude, is a height. And this is a very inspiring lesson. Probably one of the most inspiring lessons you will ever hear in your life. Really, because it's going to talk about a character whose life started with such extreme difficulty, and yet he went on to reach the greatest heights. So let's start the lesson. We'll go straight to the lesson, and the lesson itself, let it reveal to you the beauty of the whole story of one man, and what a man he was. And because he's still alive. Attitude is altitude. Imagine having no arms to stretch in the morning. Imagine having no arms to stretch in the morning to help you scratch that itch. So you're having that itch and you don't have arms to scratch your itch. To allow you to wrap your arms around your loved ones. Imagine having no arms to stretch in the morning to help you scratch that itch. To allow you to wrap your arms around your loved ones. Imagine having no legs. Imagine having no legs to kick pebbles down the street. To kick pebbles down the street. To walk or run or bicycle or skateboard or get you from point A to point B. Then, now comes the shock. Then imagine both at once. Both at once, which means you're having no arms and no legs, which is what Nick Vujicic has faced his whole life. Have you heard something like this before? Nick Vujicic was born with no arms or legs, but he doesn't let the details stop him. He doesn't let the details stop him. The brave 26-year-old who is mainly torso, torso is this part of your body, plays football and golf, swims and surfs, despite having no limbs. No limbs. Limbs is a general word which is used both for arms and legs. Nick has a small foot on his left hip. So he has a small foot on his left hip, which helps him balance and enables him to kick. He uses his one foot to type, write with a pen, and pick things up between his toes. What a man. I call it my chicken drumstick, joked Nick. So he's joking about his own disability. You can imagine what a spirit he has. Who was born in Melbourne, Australia, but now lives in Los Angeles. I'd be lost without it. So without my chicken drumstick, the small foot that comes from his left hip, he says, I'd be lost without it. If you can't get a miracle, look at the sentence. If you can't get a miracle, become one. Nick Vujicic. Due to his faith as an evangelical Christian, Nick has chosen to remain a virgin until marriage, although he has had long-term girlfriends in the past. So he has remained a virgin. He's not married. He has remained a virgin, although he has got long-term girlfriends. He's very modest. But he gets marriage proposals from women all the time. So you can imagine, women are falling for a man who has no arms and legs, which means women don't fall only for the body. They fall for the heart, the mind, the character. He's very modest, but he gets marriage proposals from women all the time. Said Nick's friend and publicist, the person who is publishing his books and all. Publicist Steve Apple from Los Angeles. He would love to get married and start a family, but he's waiting for the right girl to come along. So every man has a right girl in his mind, his soulmate, and is waiting for that kind of a girl. Water sports aren't Nick's only thing. He also plays golf with a club tucked under his chin. So he tucks a golf and is a huge fan of the English Premier League. His parents decided not to send him to a special school. We have schools for disabled people, but his parents said no, he's going to have a normal childhood, he's going to go to a normal school. His parents decided not to send him to a special school, a decision he said was very hard for him, but which may have been the best decision they could have made for him. When Nick was born, his father was so shocked that he left the hospital room to vomit. He went out of his mind seeing a baby with no arms and legs. His distraught, we've got a lovely new word here, distraught, D-I-S-T-R-A-U-G-H-T, which means distraught means very saddened, shocked, pained. His distraught mother couldn't bring herself to hold him until he was 4 months old. So his mother was so pained to see her baby like that, poor thing, she did not even come near to him for 4 months. His disability came without any medical explanation. A rare occurrence, very bad luck, a rare occurrence called phocomelia. Phocomelia. So it's a very rare disease that he got. And Nick and his parents spent many years asking why this cruel trick would happen to them. So it happens many a times in life. We wonder why it happened to us. My mother was a nurse and she did everything right during pregnancy, but she still blamed herself, he said. It was so hard for them. So hard for them. But right from the start, they did their best to make me independent. That's what Nick is saying. They tried their best to make him independent. My dad put me in the water at 18 months and gave the courage to learn how to swim. So you see many youngsters, they're very afraid of water and they don't learn even the basic skills. And here was Nick's father wanting to make his son independent and put Nick in water at 18 months. Nick's father, my dad put me in the water at 18 months and gave the courage to learn how to swim. I also got really into football and skateboarding. So with his little chicken drumstick, what he calls, he's learned skateboarding and football. I totally love the English Premier League, Nick says. Nick's father was a computer programmer and accountant, and he taught his little son how to type with a stove at just 6 years old. Look at the skill he learned at 6 years old. With his small foot, he learned how to type. His mom she herself invented, a special plastic device that meant he could hold a pen and pencil. Despite the risk of bullying, when you have a disabled child, most children can be very, very naughty, mischievous, insensitive. So despite the risk of bullying, his parents insisted Nick attended mainstream school, which was normal school. It was the best decision they could have made for me, adds Nick, who later achieved a degree in financial planning and real estate. It was very hard, but it gave me independence. So he finally finishes financial planning and real estate. Nick, who was teased and bullied, had an electric wheelchair for mobility and a team of carers to help him. I was deeply depressed when I was 8 years old, he said. I went to my mom crying and told her I wanted to kill myself. I felt cold and bitter. I hated God for doing this to me and was terrified of what would happen when my parents weren't there to look after me. I could brush my own teeth with a wall-mounted brush. So wall-mounted brush, a wall which, you mount the brush in it, and wash my own hair with pump action soap, but there was so much that was impossible for me. At age 10, Nick tried to drown himself in the bath. So he was so depressed. You can imagine a small child, so completely depressed that he wanted to drown himself in the bathtub. But luckily, the attempt was unsuccessful. I felt there was no purpose. And when you lack a purpose and strength, it is hard to hold on. Look at this sentence. This extremely wonderful sentence. Why can't people hold on? Why do people give up? Because they lack purpose and strength. And at that small, tender age, Nick also did not have that purpose and strength. I felt there was no purpose. And when you lack purpose and strength, it is hard to hold on, he said. But with the help of his religion, friends, and family, a set of values he got, Nick managed to pull through to become an international symbol of triumph over adversity. This man became an international figure. He is an international figure today. And if you go to the net, you'll find some extraordinary material on him. So much has been written on him. He's a fantastic speaker and he's so confident. A man without hands or legs, remember. When I was 13, I read a newspaper article about a disabled man who had managed to achieve great things and help others, said Nick. So when he was 13, he read a newspaper article about a disabled man who had achieved so much in his life. I realized why God had made me like this, to give hope to others. He got his purpose. I realized why God had made me like this, made us like this, to give hope to others. It was so inspirational to me that I decided to use my life to encourage other people and give them the courage that the article had given me. So that article was a turning point. An article of a disabled man who told him directly that his purpose should be to encourage others. I decided to be thankful. Look at the turn. See, he has converted his disability into almost a kind of ability. I decided to be thankful for what I do have, not angry about what I don't. I looked at myself in the mirror and said, you know what, the world is right, that I have no arms or legs, but they will never take away the beauty of my eyes. He's got really very beautiful eyes. If you see his pictures in the net, it's so deep, so beautiful. I wanted to concentrate on something good that I had. The challenges in our lives are there to strengthen our convictions. Look at this sentence. The challenges in our lives are there for what? To strengthen our convictions, to make our convictions even more stronger. Convictions means beliefs, self-beliefs, self-confidence. So if you have a challenge, it's like a test of your self-confidence and you have to emerge stronger. They are not there to run us over. Run us over means going on somebody, like a truck ran over a dog or something. So that's running over. Here he has used it in another sense. The challenges in our lives are there to strengthen our convictions. They are not there to run us over, said Nick. In 1990, Nick won the Australian Young Citizen of the Year award for his bravery and perseverance. Perseverance. It's a very beautiful word, one of my favorite words. Perseverance. Perseverance. Perseverance means you do not give up in spite of difficulty. You struggle and win. Perseverance is a word which is very powerful. So, in 1990, Nick won the Australian Young Citizen Award for his bravery and perseverance. When kids run up to me and ask, what happened? I just lean over and whisper, cigarettes. He laughed. And once I was in a car, it's a very beautiful story. Once I was in a car and a girl at traffic lights was giving me the eye. You know, she was looking like this, giving me the eye, trying to attract him. She could only see my head. No, she didn't see that he had no arms and legs. So she was just seeing his head and she found him very attractive. And she was giving him the eye like, let's be all that. Giving me the eye, she could only see my head. So I decided to do a 360 degree in the car seat to freak her out, to scare her out. And he did that. Her face was like, wow, what's going on? Just imagine she was in the car and she sees a man, only his face, and then he turns 360 degree. She must have been scared to death. She sped off really quickly. She must have thought he was a ghost or something. So look at his sense of humor. A man who just laughs at his own. This requires confidence. This requires deep conviction. This requires clarity. and non-self-pity. No self-pity. Nick began traveling the world, and in 2008 he went to Hawaii and then met surfing master Bethany Hamilton, who had her arm bitten off by a shark when she was 12. So he met Bethany Hamilton, whose arm had been bitten off. She was amazing, said Nick. She taught me how to surf, and I was terrified at first. But once I got up there, it felt absolutely fantastic. And I caught some waves pretty well. You know, surfing, you must have seen in some videos. I don't know whether you have seen directly, but in some videos you might have seen the waves come and you have to move along with the waves. That's surfing. Nick quickly learned how to do the 360-degree spins in the board. So, you know, the wave comes and you just keep an angle, and with the angular momentum, you make a 360-degree. A feat that got him on the cover of Surfer magazine within 48 hours. So within 48 hours, he was on the cover of Surfer magazine. No one has ever done that in the history of surfing. No one had ever done that in the history of surfing, he said. But I have a very low center of gravity. You know, because he has no legs, his center of gravity is lower. He's more stable. The base area is more, so he's more solid. We think that he's not stable. Actually, he's more stable. So I've got pretty good balance. He has visited different countries all over the world. Actually, he has visited India also. The football fan is now a motivational speaker and has traveled to over 24 countries, speaking to groups of up to 100,000 people. He has spoken to such large groups, and he's a motivational speaker. He gives courage to others, and he's a fantastic motivational speaker. His videos are on YouTube. He moved to Los Angeles 2 years ago and plans to continue to travel the world. This year, he will visit South America and the Middle East. If I fail, it's a fantastic sentence which is coming now. If I fail, I try again and again and again. If you fail, are you going to try again? The human spirit can handle the human spirit. He's talking about the great human spirit that actually we all have. The human spirit can handle much worse than we realize. Much worse. You can take far more stress, far more challenges, far more difficulties than we realize. It matters how you're going to finish. No, it doesn't matter all your setbacks and everything. The end is what matters. Are you going to finish strong? Said Nick. What wonderfully original words. I'm going to read it again. If I fail, I try again and again and again. If you fail, are you going to try again? The human spirit can handle much worse than we realize. It matters how you're going to finish. Are you going to finish strong? Said Nick. I tell people to keep on getting up when they fall and to always love themselves, he said. That is the secret. Nick has revealed his secret. He has no self-pity. He doesn't think I'm less or something, or I'm cursed or something. Maybe even in his early childhood he might have been depressed. We all are depressed. But look at a man who had such an extreme disability, and yet he has such total self-respect and self-love. I tell people to keep on getting up when they fall and to always love themselves, he said. If I can encourage just one person, then my job in this life is done. So that is an article from Daily Mail, a foreign newspaper. And what a wonderful article. What a wonderful man. A man who was born without limbs, without arms or legs. Started with extreme depression. Learned so many skills. Slowly evolved. And look at the clean, pure, confident spirit that he had. His disabilities disappears in his mind. He's so visionary, so clear. He's so remarkably clear that his life is important. And he converts his disability into an ability. He says, I've come to this world to encourage others. And he's exactly doing that. Talking to hundreds and thousands of people. Think for a moment. We have so many young students, millions of people who keep on crying for the smallest difficulties. And here is a great man, clear man, confident man, beautiful man with lovely eyes who says, if you fail, get up and win. And that requires self-love. Okay, so that's for today. This is 1A of inspirational, motivational essay of Nick Vujicic. And I hope you really got the inspiration. For me, Nick Vujicic is the most inspirational person I have met, equal to Helen Keller, all the greats, Stephen Hawking. They were so great, all these people. Which means the lesson today is simply this. It's not the human body. It's not the human disability. It's the human spirit that counts. Do you trust your spirit? That is the question and challenge posed by Nick Vujicic today. Thank you so much. This is NRK Academy signing out. We'll meet again with a wonderful lesson for all of you. Thank you so much.